So what is going on, Kingdom Hearts fans? It's your boy Amaziah here, bringing you guys another read-through of course, some reports from Kingdom Hearts 1. This time we're going to be talking about the Antrum Reports, and obviously going over these before we hop into the adventure of Kingdom Hearts 1, as the Antrum Reports do take place before the events of Kingdom Hearts 1, I think probably about like a year off, or even sometime far earlier than that, probably even as far as like the 10-year gap spans. But of course they explain the events of how the Heartless got into the world, the universe more so, and then also of course what happens with Ansem before he becomes Diz, and obviously Ansem the Seeker of Darkness, some of his role and stuff into the events before Kingdom Hearts 1 are played into some things here. And then of course this also I think has something to do with like some of the stuff within Kingdom Hearts 0.2, how Mickey knew a lot of that information that he knew, and why of course he doesn't call the Heartless Dwellers of Darkness like Aqua does within that game, but rather Heartless. And this is due to the fact that Mickey, although he may not have thought it was a good thing of what Ansem was doing, he actually did, keep an eye on, of course, his I guess you could say experiments with the Heartless. I'm guessing this is because he's a Keyblade wielder. He probably wanted to be sure that, of course, if Ansem was going to go ahead and go through with all of this stuff, that obviously it didn't become a situation that he couldn't handle, because obviously Mickey would have had the power of the Keyblade to dwarf off any threats. But let's go ahead and get right into them. So the Antrum Report 1 reads, much of my life has been dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge. That knowledge has guarded this world well. Not a soul doubts that. I am blessed with people's smiles and respect. But though I am called a sage, there are things I do not understand. I believe darkness sleeps in every heart, no matter how pure. Given the chance, the smallest drop can spread and swallow the heart. I have witnessed it many times. Darkness of this heart. How is it born? How does it come to affect us so? As ruler of this world, I must find the answers. I must find them before the world is lost to those taken by the darkness. And Ansem'S Report 2 reads, it is my duty to expose what this darkness really is. I shall conduct the following experiments. Extract the darkness from a person's heart. Cultivate darkness in a pure heart. Both suppress and amplify the darkness within. The experiments caused the test subject's heart to collapse, including those of the most stalwart. Stalwart. How fragile our hearts are. My treatment produced no signs of recovery. I confined those who had completely lost their hearts beneath the castle. Some time later, I went below and was greeted by the strangest sight. Creatures that seemed born of darkness. What are they? Are they truly sentient beings? Could they be shadows of those who lost their hearts in my experiments? So pretty much this is explaining that in Kingdom Hearts 2, when you go below, of course, Radiant Garden, you find this place that has like all of these capsules. That's what's within all of those capsules. It's literally people, and of course in one of the games, I think it's Kingdom Hearts 2, you can see what appears to be like these, I think they're purpley shaded hearts, purplish hearts, and those are the hearts of the people that pretty much Ansem experimented on. He says here that of course he extracted their darkness and then of course amplified that darkness. So it's kind of like there's a bunch of, I guess you could say, quote unquote Venituses like under the Radiant Garden, but of course that's a little bit of a headcanon. I'm just thinking of what we saw from like Master Xehanort versus of course what Ansem the Wise could potentially do. And he says that he's greeted by of course these shadowy figures when he of course visits the bottom of Radiant Garden, and this is kind of essentially either the birth of the Heartless within the world itself, the universe outside of the realm of darkness, because they were confined there, but this is apparently the birth of the Heartless outside of the realm of darkness, or the birth of the emblem Heartless. But we will talk more about that as it'll come up within the reports going down the line. Antrum Report number 3 reads, the shadows that crawl beneath the castle, are they the people who lost their hearts, or incarnations of darkness, or something entirely beyond my imagination? All my knowledge has provided no answer. One thing I am sure of is that they are entirely devoid of emotion. Perhaps further study will unlock the mysteries of the heart. Fortunately, there is no shortage of test samples. They are multiplying underground even as I write this report. They still need a name. Those who lack hearts. I will call them the Heartless. Ansem'S Report 4, the Heartless appear in groups and are multiplying rapidly. I've provided them both living and non-living samples. They've responded only to the living. They seem to multiply after absorbing something from the living creatures. Their prey vanishes without a trace. I believe the heartless are taking hearts. They are born from those who lost their hearts and thrive on hearts seized from others. The hearts taken by the heartless become heartless themselves. Though I lack proof, I am confident in this hypothesis. I must also study their behavioral principles. Though they lack emotions, they do seem to have some intelligence. How to communicate with them? It's just occurred to me, could they be the darkness in people's hearts? So right here, if you remember in, of course, the Final Battle trailer, Ansem speaks on, of course, experiments that Ansem used to do, and he says that he doesn't want to create any more victims. However, Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, tells him all of the children that were sacrificed for your experiments. So pretty much what he's trying to say here is that, he was willing to even go that far to learn certain things. And what Ansem just explained here is that he once was feeding, of course, people and individuals to the heartless, and he feeded them, I think what does he say? Does he say living and non-living test subjects? So apparently he was feeding them alive people and dead people at the same time and trying to see how do they respond to the two. And they found more fondness, or of course they had a reason to devour the heart of the living individual, while apparently, I'm guessing from the way he explains it, the dead individual they didn't really care about too much, and that's obviously because their hearts was no longer within their bodies, if of course that is in fact what he means. So the heartless are kind of going after, of course, he's learning that the heartless are going after the hearts of people, and when they release a heart, then of course he's saying here that he thinks that that heart becomes a heartless as well. So let's go ahead and get into Ansem'S Report number 5. To study the heartless behavior, I picked one out for observation. It wiggled its antennas and and as if sensing the target, headed deep into the castle. In the deepest part of the castle, its antenna began vibrating, as if searching for something. Suddenly a strange door appeared. I had never known of its existence. It had a huge keyhole, but didn't seem to be locked. So I opened the door. What I saw on the other side mystified me. What was that powerful mass of energy? That night I observed a great meteor shower in the sky. Could it be related to the door that I have opened? So here's his first time coming into interaction with a keyhole. If you remember in Kingdom Hearts 1, they speak about the keyhole a lot, and they say that the reason why they know about the keyhole, and this is coming from the Final Fantasy characters, which originally lived in Radiant Garden. Of course, this keyhole is the very first one that Ansem found out about, and this is pretty much how he comes to learn the knowledge of what the Heartless want with the worlds. And of course, with the Heartless attacking this keyhole, he said that he saw a meteor shower, and I don't know exactly how does that play into, of course, the role of the world itself and what the Heartless are doing to the world, but maybe it could have something to do with, of course, the world starting to, of course, die slowly due to the Heartless being in the keyhole. So as you can see, he says that the door, he's never seen it before. It went deeper into the castle. This is the exact same room where Sora sealed the keyhole within Radiant Garden. And of course, the Heartless went deeper into the castle, and when he found this door, it didn't seem to be locked. And I think that that's a clear indication that the Heartless were already within the keyhole. So Ansem'S Report number 6 reads, a massive core of energy lay beyond the door sought by the Heartless. It may be the ultimate goal of the Heartless, but what is that energy? I have devised a hypothesis based upon my observations of the Heartless. The Heartless feed on others' hearts, and they yearn for that energy core. That thing beyond the door must be a heart too, the heart of this world. There is no proof, but having felt that immense energy, I am certain that was the heart of the world. The Heartless are trying to take hearts not only from all living creatures, but from the planet itself. But what do they mean to do with the heart of the world? Ansem'S Report number 7. I am studying material from the meteors that rained down that fateful night. What I find, the material is foreign to our world. It is elastic to the touch, and when two pieces are combined, they bond easily. None of the records even mention such a substance. Was it introduced to this world when I opened the door? I wonder how many other such materials drift through the atmosphere of this tiny world. I wish I could soar off and find out. Could there be uncharted worlds up there? Many. My curiosity never ceases to grow. Never ceases to grow. I done said so many words wrong. But I should stop speaking of such unrealistic dreams. For now, there is no way to venture outside. For now, there is no way to venture outside this world. My people and I are all but prisoners of this tiny place. So, what it's saying here is that pretty much he found gummies when he opened up the door to his world. How does that bring about gummies? I don't know, but maybe this has something to do with, of course, with the keyhole being opened. Maybe it's like, I'm guessing it probably has something to do with the world itself, probably trying to give the people who seek refuge on those worlds or have a home in those worlds and stuff a way to get off of the planet. As we know, gummies can be turned into gummy ships, which is something that's not really too uncommon within the Kingdom Hearts series. We know that the Final Fantasy character Sid, especially, he knew about gummy ships and stuff. So definitely I think that that's a possibility of what's going on here and why the world pretty much started to give off pieces like the gummy ship pieces, especially since they rain down from the sky. I think it's kind of like a fail-safe for the people within those worlds, that gummy starts to fall out of the sky and stuff. If like the door to the world is open, as a potential threat may actually be upon the people, which means that it may be the world trying to save its inhabitants. Ansem'S Report number 8 says, there is no doubt that the Heartless are deeply connected to the people's hearts. Further study may unravel both their motivations and the mysteries shrouding the heart. As a start, I have built a device that artificially creates Heartless. By recreating the conditions that spawn the Heartless naturally, I should be able to produce them artificially. This device is the culmination of all my research thus far. The machine's test run successfully created a Heartless. This may be a step toward creating a heart from nothing. The artificially and naturally created Heartless showed nearly identical traits, but the two types remain distinct for the purpose of the experiment, so I will mark the ones that are created artificially. This is pretty much the creation of the emblem Heartless, and I think that he's going to go into this more in Ansem'S Report number 9. Simply astonishing. Today I had a guest from another world. He is a king, and his vessel is built of the material that composed the meteors. He called the pieces gummy blocks. It seemed that my opening the door has opened a path to interworld travel. We talked for countless hours, but one story in particular caught my interest, that of a key called the Keyblade. The Keyblade is said to hold phenomenal power. One legend says its wielder saved the world, while another says he wrought chaos and ruin upon it. I must know what this Keyblade is. A key opens doors. It must be connected to the door I have opened. So pretty much, here we go. With the door being open, Ansem Wise pretty much caused the ability and the path and lanes and stuff to be opened for interworld travel. And this is how King Mickey wound up being able to come to Radiant Garden, although it is kind of weird because shouldn't this have been happening? Well, I'm guessing then some of this happens by Birth by Sleep's time, because doesn't Mickey visit the castle in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep? And if he visits the castle, this means that, of course, he may have something, some kind of connections to Ansem going that far back. But of course, I'm not 100% certain on that. Just take it as headcanon for now, because obviously we do see Mickey go to the castle and vents his story, and I think we also meet him in Aqua's story at the castle. Yeah, when we save Kairi, we meet him at the castle, so I'm guessing that he already had connections to Ansem, but I could be wrong. We talked for countless hours, but one story in particular. So pretty much this is when he starts to find out about the Keyblade, its power, and its wielder, and of course what they can actually do. And of course, obviously, with that science mentality, with that scientist mentality and brain on him, he wants to know more about the Keyblade. So Ansem'S Report number 10 reads, just as people have hearts, so do worlds. The same can be said of stars in the night sky, and deep within each world lies a door to its heart. The heartless desire those hearts. Born out of darkness in people's hearts, they seek to return to a greater heart. Yes, that's it. The heartless come from people's hearts, as does the darkness. Is the core of the world's heart the world of the heartless? I will pursue the answer there and become all-knowing. My path is set. I shall seek out the wielder of the Keyblade and the princesses. My body is too frail for such a journey, but I must do this. I will cast it off and plunge into the depths of darkness. So I think this is... Okay, so people were telling me at a certain point, Ansem the Seeker of Darkness takes over for Ansem the Wise, and this is starting to sound like when that happens, as he starts to talk about pretty much what sounds like the creation of Ansem himself, the Seeker of Darkness. So I think that this is that point right here, in which, of course, Apprentice Xehanort, which is Terranort, actually starts to take over for Ansem the Wise. So let's go ahead and continue into Ansem's Report 11. Opening the door to the world's heart causes its wall to crumble. These fragments are seen as shooting stars. This explains why these gummy blocks can travel freely to other worlds. Okay, so it says opening the door to the world's heart causes its walls to crumble. Okay, so yeah, exactly. The walls of that divide the worlds. If you open the world's heart, it pretty much will crumble that. I didn't understand that when I read it the first time, so I had to go back over it. I know the catalyst of the collapse, the appearance of the Heartless. However, it will take time to search out the world's doors and to retrieve each heart. Furthermore, the doors can be locked using a Keyblade, making the heart forever unattainable. I must take action before the wielder of this key appears in this world. If the princesses and the Keyblade are connected, they should resonate. I have chosen a girl. I don't know if she holds the princess's powers, but I will find out. She may lead me to the key bearer. I shall set her free and observe. So, if you remember, in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, Aqua put that spell on Kairi. We just played Birth by Sleep. We just finished it, I think, sometime last month. So obviously, if you remember when Aqua put that spell on Kairi, she said that the strength of her heart, that spell and the strength of her heart connected will lead her to the strength of the heart of another. And that person was Sora. So with that being, or Riku, whichever one, I don't think they ever explained it, but obviously Sora is the main character. So we're going to go with Sora. So that strength of heart led her to Sora. And of course, with it being the case, when Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness, tried to experiment on Kairi, obviously what happened was the spell had taken her to Sora. So let's go ahead and get into Antrum Report number 12. The body is gone. The heart should have returned to the Heartless. And yet nothing. This one is unlike any other. Its memories remain, and it has yet to take the form of a Heartless. A close eye must be kept on the situation. Much is still unknown. To get to the realm of darkness, one must go through the doors of Kingdom Hearts, the place where the world's hearts connect. Beyond this world is a place in which darkness reigns. Details shall be archived in a separate report. There are many worlds in existence, some of which we know nothing about. The world in which we live, the realm of darkness, the realm of light, and the world in between, wherein lies true nirvana. So he's asking a question about, like, pretty much the worlds and the realms and stuff. I'm guessing what he's saying is the world is in which we live, the realm of darkness, the realm of light, and the world in between, wherein lies true nirvana. So what he's saying is Radiant Garden falls into the realm in between the two realms, between the realm of light and the realm of darkness. This is where a lot of the events for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep take place, within the realm in between. And we know this because Master Ericus tells Aqua that their world sits in the realm in between, and because it sits in the realm in between and the world that it is, of course, obviously, it has an ability to govern over the forces of light and darkness within the universe. If someone who wants to corrupt the balance of the world wanted to, they could come to this world and wreak havoc upon the whole universe by breaking up, of course, that hold it has on the balance of the universe. So obviously that's pretty much what he's talking about here, in which he states that in the realm in between, are they in true nirvana? Highly doubt it, my dude. Ansem'S Report 13 and the final report says, where does the body go when it separates from the heart? If the soul remains within the body, is it still considered to be deceased? When the heart returns to the heartless, the physical form disappears, but that is merely true in this world. Perhaps the body exists in another form in another world. If that is the case, then it is possible for one to exist in two worlds. A being that is neither darkness nor light, belonging nowhere. It abandoned by its heart, a mere shell of its former self. The relation between the heart and the body is complex. However, I am certain that if your self exists here, then by definition the other can. However, I am certain that if yourself exists here, then by definition the other cannot truly exist. The other, the one which does not exist, shall be dubbed nobody. So, and this is the creation of the nobody, or of course, Ansem starts on like nobodies. So pretty much what it says here is that you have the ability to exist in two places, to coexist. You can exist as your heartless self and as your body self. The body is obviously made up of the physical manifestation of your body through your heart, and obviously the soul that you have. However, the heartless is the other form of you, so you would exist in two places. However, due to the fact that the heart is more so what makes up the person, then of course the body and the soul would pretty much be a nobody, even though they exist somewhere else, of course, and they obviously are their own being. The heart is still the true essence of who you are. So the nobody is essentially just that, a nobody. So that pretty much wraps up the Ansem reports from Kingdom Hearts 1. Ansem reports number 2, the secret Antrum reports. We'll get into those before we do Kingdom Hearts 2, before we do Kingdom Hearts 2, and of course, there's going to be a lot of games that coincide with Kingdom Hearts 2. We're talking like 358 Days over 2, we have Chain of Memories, and then we also have Recoded. So pretty much a lot of those games go into building up the plot of like Kingdom Hearts 2 and then what comes after before Dream Drop Distance. So we still got a long ways to go. I just wanted to go ahead and bring you guys this because this is some information, again, not too many people I've seen have done videos on the Antrum reports, the Xehanort reports, and obviously the glossary within Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. And I do believe that we will be getting some kind of reports within, of course, Kingdom Hearts 3. Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts 3. Whoa. I think that we'll probably get something like the Master of Masters reports or potentially even Lushu's reports. So thank you guys for tuning into the video. This is being boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming and everything you do. Don't forget to keep it A-class, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace the heck